Good afternoon, and thank you for coming here today. We have been closely monitoring Hurricane Irene and making the necessary preparations through collaboration with the New York State Bridge Authority, Central Hudson, and Dutchess County Emergency Response. I'll be outlining the city's emergency response plan after New York State Bridge Authority Executive Director Joseph Ruggiero discusses concerns surrounding roadway and bridge infrastructure. All questions will be taken at the end of the press conference, once myself and Mr. Ruggiero have an opportunity to make our comments. Joe?
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, Governor Cuomo has issued a state of emergency for the state of New York. As part of that emergency, the New York State Bridge Authority will be putting into effect its hurricane policy. When wind speeds reach 30 miles per hour to 40 miles per hour, we will issue a wind advisory for motorists for lightweight vehicles crossing all of our bridges. When wind speeds exceed 60 miles per hour, the bridges in the New York State Bridge Authority system will close to traffic. So if people are looking to make arrangements to move out of the area, keep that in mind, not to do it and wait for the storm, because when we hit that threshold of 60 miles per hour, the facilities may be closed. Now, not all 5 bridges are going to close at once. Our span of the system is some 80 miles apart from the Bear Mountain Bridge up to the Catskills. So the Bridge Authority staff will be monitoring wind speeds and making advisory information to the municipalities surrounding it. The pedestrian walkway over the Hudson Bridge will close at dusk today and not open during the hurricane. We will hopefully reopen the bridge on Tuesday morning after bridge inspectors review the bridge. I do want to make some comments regarding the walkway and the issues surrounding it. As you know, the walkway over the Hudson is a 123-year-old railroad bridge which was converted into a state park. The New York State Parks Department operates the walkway over the Hudson Park in accordance with an operating lease with the New York State Bridge Authority. Although this is a park, and at the end of the day, it is a bridge. That is why New York State Bridge Authority was directed by the governor and the legislature to acquire the walkway in the name of the state of New York, so the walkway over the Hudson would benefit from our bridge expertise and our strong maintenance practices which we have brought to our vehicle bridges for many, many years. NYSBA's reputation for good standards and good conditions of our bridges is well known throughout our 80-year history and throughout the country. Even though the walkway over the Hudson Bridge was a former railroad and now a pedestrian bridge, NYSBA standards for maintenance will be applied. Since acquisition last December, we have undertaken many engineering studies on the condition of the walkway, like we do in any of our bridges. Mid-last week, NYSBA received an engineering report that showed portions of the walkway could safely handle lateral wind loads up to 80 miles per hour. Because of that study, NYSBA has now identified portions of the bridge that need to be reinforced to a 134 mile per hour standard like all of our other bridge facilities. When this bridge was constructed over 120 years ago, it only had a design standard of 100 miles per hour. This work is going to be scheduled next week and will take the better part of a year to complete. Obviously, the onset of Hurricane Irene as a Category 1 and potential sustaining hurricane wind speeds of greater than 80 miles per hour poses a risk. As we monitor the tracking of the storm, and if hopefully it keeps on the direction that we are seeing here in the Hudson Valley, we will experience lower than expected wind speeds, so the risk will also diminish. Currently, there is absolutely no imminent danger of collapse of the walkway over the Hudson. I want to be perfectly clear. Since the walkway opened in October 2009, the structure has been sound and safe and available and appropriate to open to the public. There is not now, nor has been any threat to any patron on the walkway. The bridge is vertically sound and can fully handle the load of the new deck and any pedestrians on top of the bridge. But due to the storm, the walkway, as I said, will close on Saturday, and after inspection by NISBA staff on Monday are complete, we will give the all clear for the park to reopen, and the public should have confidence in the safety of this park. I want to thank the mayor and his administration for working with us, as well as the county emergency services personnel for all the emergency preparedness planning surrounding the walkway. As a former town supervisor, I can assure you that Mayor Tyzik is taking all the appropriate steps to protect the public in a very rational and measured way. I also want to thank the Friends of the Walkway group for their perseverance throughout the years for the rehabilitation of this structure. For if it were not for their efforts, the bridge would not be as safe as it is today. And we would not have this beautiful state park, nor would we have ownership of this bridge and the information at hand to make appropriate emergency preparedness to protect the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Your assistance has been invaluable over the last few days, and without the Bridge Authority's forewarning of infrastructure deficiencies, the city would not have been able to prepare for any potential disaster as a result of the hurricane. Effective tomorrow at noon, and until the city is deemed safe, I'm calling a state of emergency with particular emphasis on dwellings within 500 feet of the walkway over the Hudson. I am urging all residents within the evacuation zone to please secure and vacate their homes for the duration of the state of emergency. This is a voluntary evacuation, but I can't stress enough the importance of the residents to heed our warnings for their own safety. Dutchess County Emergency Response and the Red Cross are working on setting up a regional evacuation center where backup generators will be in place for those that don't have family or friends to stay with locally. Transportation to the regional evacuation center will be provided by the city and county bus system from the areas affected and will be provided back to their homes after the storm has subsided and the walkway bridge is inspected by the Bridge Authority and deemed safe. My office will be staffed and prepared for resident calls all day on Saturday during normal business hours, and for the entire duration of the storm on Sunday to assist with evacuation, transportation, and shelter questions. There are roughly 150 families affected, and the list of affected residents will be on the city's website and distributed here today along with the map. Let me be very clear. Residents within the evacuation zone are strongly urged to evacuate from their homes. And at this time, we'll open it up for any questions.
So the bridges can take with winds up to 134 miles an hour, correct? Is that correct?
Yes, that's what our AASHTO standard is, the highway standard for bridges, and that's what all the bridges in our vehicular system can do.
And so you're going to repair the bridge, walkway over the Hudson to do the same?
We're going to reinforce the bridge. Mind you, it's a 123-year-old structure. A lot of work has gone to make the bridge safe and stable. We need to bring it up now to wind speeds that the valley could experience. You know, this hurricane, even when we had the last hurricane in 1999, it was more of a rain event. Now we're getting a wind-mixed rain event, so that poses a risk. So to avoid future risks, we're going to undertake, as we do with any of our bridges, we go through, we assess the weakness of any bridge. They don't deteriorate in a uniform manner. And Newburgh Beacon, Rip Van Winkle, whatever it is, as we find those weaknesses, we do immediate repairs. Those are called flags. The Bridge Authority has no flags on its vehicular bridges, and now that we have this walkway, we're addressing our flag list.
And are any of the construction efforts going to disrupt the use of the park?
Not at all. It will be all under the deck. It would be seamless to the people enjoying the park.
Obviously, on the other side, we have Ulster County. Is there any concern or any evacuation efforts for Ulster County?
There is no residential areas within the potential fall zone. Over there, we have totally worked with Ulster County. The supervisor of the town of Lloyd has been totally in the loop on all these things. We've been meeting with about 40 affected agencies for the last several days. As far as Governor Cuomo sent staff down to help facilitate. SEMO, our Deputy Secretary of Transportation, was down all week. So those are the issues. Everyone worked great. It was really what emergency preparedness was. It is actually, if you wanted to, this is a desktop model, if you will. And precaution is what the public expects, and government is doing the right thing. And I commend the mayor and his team in being very responsive.
John, have the 150 families been notified, and if not, how are they going to be notified?
Well, they'll be notified through the city's website, but also with the addresses identified, we will be giving notice to the residences, the dwellings.
We've been working with the county on identifying those parcels and double checking their records against ours, and also those people that have listed phones, we have the ability through the county to make phone notifications to them. Obviously the problem comes in with people who don't have phones or who have unlisted phones, but we're making every effort to get to the affected areas as we can.
Has that started yet, the phone calls?
No, it hasn't. The first, obviously, attention being brought to this is through the press conference, so that the proper information is out there, so people know what they're being warned about.
How much are the repairs going to cost, and where's the money going to come from?
The first stage of the repairs is estimated about $1.2 million, and it will come out of the treasury of the New York State Bridge Authority.
In the realm of precaution, the bridge is 123 years old. It's been through some big storms. From the engineering side of things, what was the concern? What might come loose, or what are we talking about here?
Well, there's like I said, we are required to do biennial inspections of all our bridges. When we inherited this bridge, we were directed to take it over. Our chief engineer, Bill Moreau, said, we're going to treat this bridge like we do all the others. We're going to go through the inspection, get the punch list. It's about reinforcing lateral bracing, bolts, all these components that make up a bridge. Now we have a punch list, a work list, and we're going to begin. Stay dry and stay out of the storm. Thank you.
Well, if there are no further questions, so that concludes the press conference. And Chief, you have the list of
I'll hand it out.
addresses for the press. And we also have a map that those of you can look at outlining the area designated. Thank you.